Hello, good morning. It's coming to you from QTV. I am Ibrahim Abalde. It's a new week. It's Monday, the 13th of November 2023. And very soon we'll be saying bye to the year 2023. And we hope 2024 would be a blissful year. I have seen the people that visited 2024 and they are back.
Did you just invent a word?
Yes.
Did you say blissful?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I wish I had your talent for inventing words.
Absolutely,
That is wicked.
That's the reason
It's,
why.
it's a beautiful
no,
word.
but that's how that's the stance
I
of
love
a
that.
VJ. I mean,
really
you should be able to invent
I'm
and
gonna
let them put it in the lexicon.
I'm gonna steal that one.
It's significant.
You had milk this morning, or maybe I should say milk, as your guys would say. For milk. You had milk this morning.
This morning. Yeah, so on the platform, I'm joined by Eso Nyasi. Recently, he is now, promoted to an Ustaz. London, he is now a Dara man. Good morning, Eso.
Good morning, Balde. Good morning to Mr. Ade and to all the viewers out there. I mean, I haven't been on this platform for a while, right?
You've been running
good
away.
To be back. Good
You've
to
been
be
running
back.
away
I've just
from
been busy.
He's just been busy.
But man, boy, you looking good, Eso. Huh? What's your secret, bro?
I don't know.
Contentment.
Maybe, yeah. Exactly.
Someone said data is the secret.
Don't
so we are all checked today. Mr. Ade, good morning.
You and I are wearing check,
Yes.
international check shirt
Check,
there,
yeah.
in case anybody didn't know. Our colleague there is also wearing check, so yeah.
It's Czech Republic.
This is the Czech Republic today.
Yeah, so on the platform today, we'll be taking a look at the African proverb. Then we would be reviewing some of the stories making headlines with Mr. Adi Drame.
Sure.
And then we will talk to Casa Gambia. Their recently concluded workshop on community activities. Very significant.
I was quite impressed with what I saw, I have to say. Yeah.
Yes. So, and we'll be doing sports today, Sports Wall with Momodu Gajaga, and he'll be updating us on what is happening in the world of sports. And on that note, we'll start with the African proverb, and I'll give Eso the honor to read that.
So the proverb reads, a camel does not joke about the hump of another camel.
There you are, I guess it says, if you take it away from the sort of animal world, if you have a fault, then don't kind of tease somebody else.
It's like they say, if you live in a glass house.
Well, this is it. If you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. Interesting thing about camel, in England, they make lots and lots of jokes about the camel and the shape of a camel. And so there's this joke that, in fact, a camel is a horse that's been designed by a committee. In other words, too many people were involved in. They couldn't agree on it. Said no, let's have one hump. Let's have two. So it's a joke. But yeah, I mean, I think for me it says about if you have a fault.
Yeah.
Then don't. But many of us do it. We're all guilty of it. We say, oh, if that was me, I wouldn't do that. And then when we find ourselves in that situation, we do exactly that thing that we said we weren't going to do. So, for me, that's...
Exactly. I mean, you mentioned, very significant things here. You mentioned a committee. Normally, what I've realized, the other day I was talking to one of my friends. I said to him, look, you see, most of these associations, these committees don't work properly. Because people don't sometimes agree onto one thing. Even if you go on meetings, even this is the right thing to do, there'll be another man at the corner who will tell you, no, this is not the right thing. So most of these organizations, associations, most of the time they don't work because people don't tend to agree.
But isn't that why when you have properly structured meetings and you keep minutes, you have action points? And the action points are what have been agreed after the discussion, after the debate, after the disagreement even. You all say, okay, 5 of us want this, 10 of us want something else, so the majority will carry the vote. And that's how it should be. There's no way in life that all of us can always agree on everything. But if you belong to a committee, you have to have rules, you have to have regulations about how you behave. And part of that has to be that, okay, if we are discussing something that's contentious and we can't agree on it, how do we resolve it? We have to leave this meeting with something, not just leave it hanging. And so, you know, so yeah, those committees, they should work.
When you said hanging, it reminds me of our National Assembly. There are many bills hanging there.
Far too many, including the draft constitution,
yes.
which we were told is not dead.
Please, what is your own version of this quote?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's basically summed it up. For me, it's more about being fair in your judgment and criticism of others, especially if you have the same problems. And so he couldn't have said it any better. Yeah.
Well, I think we all agree, so there is no need for us to be prowling all over.
This guy in his words
yes,
again.
so what we do, we'll take a short break. Yes. After the break, then the program continues. We'll be back.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. "5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected, juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. Go, ebe dawa full network suda tili QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata QCell. Most reliable network dimala geta wati QCell. Wo quality man nyon soto jam pona manke QCell. Hani be wulo ni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network ko se taria QCell suñu boss. Yo finjeka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawo fele QCell. Ko fasunta buka busi QCell. Itella molti milka kukutol nati Gambia QCell meta lori la kilianol yele imanyina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma QCell suñu boss QCell suñu boss QCell suñu boss QCell suñu boss Connect solo be bambandi QCell suñu boss QCell most innovative QCell suñu boss.
Yes, we are back. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalda. If you are wondering how to start your day, where to start, how to start, when to start, the point to start, what is going to be the pivot? The pivot, you know what the pivot is?
You're about to tell the
pivot is very significant, as much as the fulcrum. You know, so we are back. So why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
So essentially you're telling people that if they were wondering where to start their day, they need wonder no more. This is
this morning, get ready to conquer your day. So we are back. The Foroya newspaper is saying government yet to decide price of groundnut.
Very significant.
But first of all, before we go in on that story, I would like us to recognize the consistency of the Foroya newspaper. You know, Foroya since Jammeh's time, they've never been lenient on matters that are supposed to be stressed. You understand?
Of course.
So if you look at it, the pace that they've been going, that's the pace they maintain.
Sure.
For a very long time. So I respect them for
They've been like that from the Jawara days.
They've been like that for a very long time, you know. Sure. So government yet to decide price of groundnut, and I'm seeing on the other headline too, government calls farmers to sell produce to them. Yes,
rather
but they are yet
to.
To.
Yes,
but
they are
yet
for
to.
me, when I saw or heard that headline, I did wonder Normally, we're in November now. Normally, when would they decide the price? Because we seem to hear this story every year. Oh, they haven't decided yet. So maybe I should have checked when they did it last year, just as a comparison.
Yeah, I remember last year it kept dragging and dragging.
Right.
It went to a point where the farmers had to organize themselves and then invited the ministry to a meeting.
Okay, so now we're hearing that.
Sorted. I just hope they don't have.
Well, we're hearing they're being invited again. So maybe the same thing is happening. I'm not sure why. Normally, you would have known from last year because you know when it's the sowing time. You know when the harvest time is, and you just sort of base it on that.
Well, I mean, I think it's the price. At the end of the time, it depends on the price. If the government is buying at a better price, I mean, farmers will sell their groundnuts, and
farmers, they're not in it for charity.
Exactly.
It's their livelihood, and so if somebody is offering them a better price, and we hear this every year of them, crossing the border and taking it elsewhere. So if somebody's offering them a better price, they will go with that, whoever that someone is.
I have to say it's commendable as well that they've taken the initiative to say, come sell your produce to us. I think this is important because we know that there's a lot of challenges that farmers do face as well because we don't have many storage facilities around and some of them, they struggle. If you look at most of our farmers, they live around the provincial Gambia. So it's difficult even having to transport your produce, all the way here. So if government is taking this initiative to say, come sell to us, I think it's good.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there is a problem. Most of this government points for selling groundnut is at their secos. A point whereby people take groundnuts and sell. But remember, these people, the competitors, they come and meet the farmers. They buy their groundnuts from their communities instead of going to the secos. But you are responsible for transporting your groundnut to the secos. So that's also another thing that will hinder the selling of the groundnut to the government.
If I have a vegetable or something that I want to sell or a produce, maybe, it's not unreasonable that I should transport it myself, provided I build that into or the person who's buying from me builds that into the price that they're going to buy it from me, and say, okay, I know you have transportation costs and they are so much, so I'll pay you this much, plus I'll factor in your transportation costs. Then it's not a problem.
So usually government would ask farmers to sell to them when they're struggling to sell, or if some of these businesses are not buying at a better price. That is when government will always intervene.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The advantage of pursuing rights in the courts instead of politicizing cases. The Foroya newspaper editorial said this. Instead of politicizing cases.
Without delving too much, it's a headline, but I guess we can guess it's the Alaji Bora case that has brought this to the forefront and to everybody's attention. And it's good. And it's a case that sends a clear message that, as our colleague Joy said in his story, the law is blind. Nobody is or should be above the law. Nobody, from the highest in the land to the lowest in the land. And so it's a good case because it sets the thing. It says the Constitution says this. Everybody must abide by it, regardless of who you are. So it's good.
Absolutely. What does the Ministry of Trade here to Foroya's observation of price hikes?
So you want to take that?
Yes.
What did it say? Ministry of Trade.
Yes. What are they saying about Foroya's observation when it comes to price hike? There is a lot of price hike in this country, if you know it or not. The other day I asked for a bag of onion. The shops are closer together, like they are not very far from the next shop. I asked this one, they said 1,200. The other one I asked is 1,050. So, you can see how people, do these things without the knowledge of authorities.
So, you want to go first?
Well, okay, let me go. The thing is, we've just been talking about the Alaji Bora case, okay? I hear people all the time saying, government should intervene, government should intervene. Trust me, I defy anybody to show me anywhere in our laws or in our constitutions. And governments have intervened and said people cannot But even they are breaking the law by doing that. There's nothing that allows them to intervene in market economy. There's nothing.
Market, in fact.
It's a free market. If I have something I want to sell to you at this price, hey, either you pay it or you go somewhere else.
Yeah, you have an option.
But you hear people all the time saying government should intervene. Well, the reason they don't intervene is because it's illegal for them to.
Well, I think there's a problem. If the government want people to sell at a fair price, I think they should start importing. They should start bringing stock. I mean, their own stock.
But we're trying to get away from that. We're trying to get away from that because effectively, government is subsidized. Government wants they want there to be a free market where people can import and make money from importing. But obviously, if people feel it's unfair, this is when they ask for government intervention. But the reason government don't intervene is not because they don't want to; it's because actually they can't.
And you have to understand that we do not really export basically anything. We don't produce stuff
from
here apart from groundnuts. So that too is a problem. But mostly it's down to the individuals that are doing these businesses. You can't really put all that blame on government. And like you said, if they want to intervene in a certain way, they would be breaking the law as well. So it's down to us. In fact, Samboki Poli, they would hoard some of these items after a few weeks. They would sell at a very high price. And that's quite unfair.
In the past, governments have put price controls, but that's because previously we had an authoritarian regime. They didn't pay much attention to the law, any law, let alone law, and because they knew that this would be a popular thing. But the government now, because if I go into business, to make money. Obviously, if people are making what I don't know, for want of a better word, unfair, because it's an unfair situation, then that's a concern, and the public will turn against them. But government really, their hands are tied somewhat.
In fact, what are we exporting as a country now? Ground. We used to export ground, a lot of ground. It used to be our cash crop.
We still do.
Yes, but I mean, comparing to other competitors in the market, it's telling you our groundnut is not very good now because of aflatoxin.
Yes, we've had various, but they're dealing with that. I mean, it's not that it's so bad that we can't export any. It still brings in a significant, revenue to the country. It's still very much the prime cash crop. But you and I, SO, will know this. How many times have we not been to events where we talk about food security? For me, it's just become a slogan. There are a few things that we're doing to achieve it. But as I've mentioned many times before, if you go back into the record books and you look at somewhere like the rice fields that were producing more in 1969 than they are now, that should not happen. There are very few countries where that is the case, where the yield in 1969 was greater with all the improvements in farming techniques and so on. So something's wrong, and we're trying to address it. Obviously, people are now trying to bring in, different types and varieties of rice. So that because rice is such a staple food here, and we should not be importing a single grain of rice. Over the years, we should have made it so that we are self-sufficient, at least in that. Well, but we're miles away from it.
Rice is the most consumed, foods. Throughout the world. Yeah, so now let's take a look at Rohey Malick Lowe, the mayor of Banjul. She recently completed the Bloomberg Harvard Leadership Program. It's important for us to recognize our people on this program sometimes. If they don't do it right, we call them and tell them, you did not do it right. Why? But if they are doing it right, it's important for us to recognize that. We need to acknowledge our leaders, before, we will say, okay, Gambians, they only acknowledge people when they are dead. So I think Rohey Malick Lowe is doing her best for Banjul, despite she is like a member of the other party, but still she have Banjul at heart, and I'm seeing that.
Well, that's why she was re-elected, because obviously people were happy enough with her. But you're right. I was smiling because when you said, only when people are dead do they get the praise. My friend Rob Tell used the phrase, give me the flowers when I can still smell them. You know, when people die, they go and put flowers on their grave. It's too late now. They can't smell those flowers. So give me the praise now, and if you think I've done something well. So I certainly agree with you that if somebody has something good, and we should recognize that, we should acknowledge that.
True.
And if they do something that's we should criticize them, then
I've
fine.
seen a lot of youth activities in Banjul. I mean, some of them I've been sent to China, some of them sent to different countries to go and study, you know, and this is all through the mayor's initiative. We've seen all that in Banjul.
In fact, even yesterday I saw on the Global Parliament of Mayors site, where it says the vice chair, I saw a statement congratulating her for winning the Benjamin Barber Award as well.
Right.
So I think it's been a good year for her, even politically. Really, there's a lot that we can be proud of some of the things she's achieving as a country. And I think, you know, it's good. At least we have so many young girls as well who can take inspiration from some of the things he's achieving.
And I'm glad Eso mentioned this, because this was a point I was going to mention and pick up on. You know, in this country we talk about the low representation of women in politics particularly, and so it's good if we have somebody, a woman, who is winning these international awards, because yes, you win it somewhere else, but then somebody reads it and say, oh, Gambia, let me look at the Gambia. And that reflects on the Gambia. And as he also says, a young girl who's at school now will say, oh, you know, look, Mayor Rohi Malik Lowe, look at what she's achieved. I can be that one day, or one day I can be president. You know, it gives them something to aspire
It just serves as basically a reference for
People flying the Mamadi Manjang Highway, the road that leads to Brikama, we are finding it a nightmare to access our homes.
Why?
I think there is a huge road construction going on from Buva Zone towards the Latrikunda Cow Junction end. And it's a nice night. You spend almost 2 hours standing, like your car standing on the traffic like that, with the ignition on. Some of these cars cannot turn off their ignition. Once they do, that's all. You understand? So I think, you know, they should plan these routes in such a way, if they are constructing a particular route.
Diversion?
Yes, let them create a better diversion where people can access the other road. But it's a nightmare, Mr. Ade.
Listen, I'm smiling because when I drive home, I get to where I live on that main road. I can see my house, and if there was a turning, I'd be there in 2 seconds. I have to go all the way down to, because what they did last week for 3 days, I had to go all the way down to the airport junction and turn around.
And that's your house right there.
Come back. I mean, because even the turning down to the Coastal Road Market, they had blocked that off. So you couldn't use that at all. You had to go all the way down to the airport junction, and that was just...
Mr. Ade, you see, I think there is a mistake somewhere. For me, that's how I've seen it. You see, that flyover on the Costa Road Junction, you understand? You should have... There is a turning under the bridge. Yes. There is a turning that you should use and go to your area.
That's what I'm saying. It was blocked because they were doing some cleaning.
They're doing some cleaning.
But for 3 days, we could not access it. And that was really a nightmare. So that cleaning for me should have been done at night, so that during the daytime, the road is free and available. But 3 days, I had to go all the way down to Airport Junction and then double back. So yeah, it's been quite bad. And the other thing I think I must mention very, very quickly, what we've built with these dual carriageways is almost as if this was a motorway in the middle of nowhere. Actually, we've built them in the middle of residential areas mainly. And yet there are no turnings for many people. So now what you see is the craziness that you only see in the Gambia, people driving against the traffic.
Yes, I've seen that.
Because they have no alternative. And so there's not been some proper thought given to it, really. There should be a few points where either have traffic lights or whatever. Because if you don't have traffic lights, people are not going to stop to allow people to turn anyway. And so people have to go all the way down, sometimes a mile and a half, to double back to get to where you should be. So
well,
really
I think
needs to be looked at.
there is so much congestion now. I mean, this should have been planned a long time. I mean, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to access.
Maybe we will need to invite the NRA to engage them on some of these things.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Because I think what we're talking about is we're not being unreasonable. There should be turnings off, and there should be junctions. But there appear to be virtually no junctions until you get to roundabouts.
Yep.
And that's not sensible, really, because there are several streets that are off these dual carriageways that people just cannot access their houses or their streets. And for me, when I saw it at first, I kept saying to somebody, I said, oh, no, they'll put gaps where people can turn. But they haven't.
There's no gap. I mean,
there are no gaps.
Your home from Sukuta traffic light, you should get at least somewhere. To turn.
And yet that's...
Imagine Mr. Ade have to drive up to Airport Junction to turn to come to his house. I mean, Mr. Ade, that's crazy.
And you're talking about, I don't know, a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles?
That's
almost,
crazy.
From where the previous turning off to the...
And even if you get to the Airport Junction, that turning is a nightmare.
It's a nightmare because there are always people coming from the other bit that want to try. So which is why they always have police.
Junction, so you have
they have police station there all the time. Because
so that is what it is.
And of course, Gambia being Gambia, nobody gives way to anybody anyway.
Exactly.
So you have to just wait till there's no traffic.
It happened this weekend. I mean, I was going to a funeral and I saw, I was just parked somewhere. Then I signaled to come on the traffic. A driver refused to give me a way to come. So after, at some point, he also stopped, and now he wanted me to give him. I said to him, I was with my wife in the car. I said to my wife, excuse me, but I wouldn't give him. I wouldn't give him any chance.
If anybody who drives with me in my car, they know I'm always talking about this thing. And honestly, I've driven in about 7 or 8 countries. I think Gambia is the one country where whenever somebody does give me way, I'm shocked. Because
they will not give you
people
anyway.
Just and I don't understand it. I just do not understand it. People just, even if they know that they're in a traffic jam and you just want to join the queue along with them, they'll drive in and cut in front of you.
Too many fuller drivers on our roads, man.
Yeah. So that is it. I mean, it's really crazy. If you drive with Mr. Car, you will get mad in his car. Mr. Car doesn't drive. I mean, he doesn't struggle in the traffic. Even if you want to rush, he will tell you, you can go, no worries.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Don't worry.
I'm like that. I'm like that.
So that's it. Yeah, Mr. Ade, thank you very much. Give me the. I'll take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt condolence to our
colleague
Keba Kamara. He is also a journalist, and he really stood for the Gambia during the trying times of Jammeh. I mean, he was the one that gives people confidence time to time on radio when the dictator refused to step down. And this guy invites Halifa Sallah on several occasions on Paradise Radio, where they talked about the then situation of the country. So Keba did very well when it comes to the media in the Gambia. So he lost his wife on Friday. She was a very good lady by the name Marisar. We were at the burial on Saturday. It was emotional, and so we are extending our heartfelt condolence to Keba Kamara and the entire Kamara Kunda family. May her soul rest in peace. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Ade, for joining us on the program. Now we'll take a short break. After the break, the program continues. We'll be back.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell brings you the future with our ultimate bundles. Enjoy the best voice and data bundle plans in one package. Get unlimited data packages with flexible validity and enjoy what true internet feels like. Get 30 minutes of on-net and off-net calls with 5 gigabytes of data for just $350. or get bigger bundle packages from 10 gigabytes to 20 gigabytes with over 100 on-net and off-net voice calls and enjoy the fastest internet speed in the Gambia. You can also buy 1-day, 3-day, or even 7-day packages and enjoy unlimited data bundles with uncapped speeds. Just dial *343# today and experience the limitless capabilities of the QCell network. *343# should be your favorite code to dial now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, we innovate, others follow.
Step into the Espas Motors showroom for your luxurious name brand vehicle. Located along the Bertil Harding Highway, Espas Motors is the Gambia's authorized dealer for Chery, Kia, Ford, and now we bring you the new Peugeot model 3008 SUV. 18-inch alloy wheels, 216 inches high ground clearance, keyless entry system, start and stop button, rear parking assistance system with reverse camera, adaptive cruise control with speed limit, LED daytime running lights, front and side airbags, 8-inch HD touchscreen. Not to forget our exquisite Peugeot Landtrek double cabin pickup with 2.1-liter diesel engine, 6-speed manual transmission 4x4, hill descent control, LED daytime running lights. Espas Motors, the authorized dealer for Peugeot. Visit us today or call us on 35-2222 or 353-4444.
So we are back, and the way people express, I mean, Basse dafa sorry. Basse sorry would. Basse, I mean, money. Nakala nyowa Basse dafa sorry. Basse is 4-5 hours drive.
5 hours drive.
Ñun time bu ñoo dem Basse time boobu noonu bu ñu doon dem school su ñoo dem Basse dañoo jógee fii 6 si suba ñu àgga 12 si guddi. Understand nga? Time boobu yoon bi baaxul. Dañ dee dugga si yooni àll yi ñuy round da nga dem jaara sooma nga dugga yooni àll time boobu yoon no yooni gannaaw laa wax. All right, so that's what I said. So imagine 6 si suba nga àgga 12 si guddi AM, you know, so loolu mooy sori waaye léegi I mean moo tax dañ war a recognize sometimes, I mean, efforts you jàmme def, you know, we shouldn't be forgetting about those things. It's important ñu recognize ko because time boobu dañ dee struggle especially si nawet bi ñu bëri ñoo dee foofu moto yu bëri ñoo fa daan waaw so bu mu defee loolu noonu at least suñ doom la. Yeah, so we are back. Let's talk to Casa Gambia, the recently concluded community activity, and we have Ibrahima Jatta. Is it Jatta?
Yes.
Yes, chairperson, Casa Gambia.
Yes.
Ibrahim, I think this is the second time on this platform.
Absolutely, yes.
The last time we talked about Casa Gambia.
Yes.
And this time we're talking about Casa Gambia.
Gambia.
If you talk about Casa Gambia, the mental picture that I have is Casa Mas.
Oh yeah, Casa.
Does it have to do with Casa Mas?
Well, no, nothing to do with Casa Mas. Casa also is a Spanish word, means house. But then for us, Casa is an abbreviation, Community Action Support Association. So it has nothing to do with Casa Mas.
You from Brufut?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I can now remember.
Oh, you remember, right?
Brufut, yes.
Last year we were here.
Yes, you are right.
With the market project and
you are right. So please take us through on this community activity.
Well, okay. Well, my name is Ibrahima. I'm the chairperson for Casa Gambia. Like I said earlier, Casa stands for Community Action Support Association. So recently we have contracted Batten Construction and signed a $12.1 million project to renovate, expand the Brufut Maternity and Labor Wards. And of course, we have also concluded a 2 days linking and learning workshop with CSOs, community-based organizations and NGOs to link them with organizations in Holland and here so that we can build their capacity in terms of community development through participation. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, take us through the activities that you've been on for a long time. I mean, the other time you came and we talked about, I think, the Brufut market.
Yes, exactly.
We talked about a lot of things. So how did that project go, the Brufut market project?
Well, the Brufut market is still on a standstill, unfortunately.
Did you tile Brufut?
No, we didn't.
It's not tile?
We could not tile Brufut. What happened, basically, we have raised 7.5 million to rebuild Brufut market. And then we had stakeholders, Brikama Area Council, Brufut Diaspora, of course, our partners in Holland, Stichting Wilda Khansa, of course, Wilda Khansa Foundation and Elizabeth Trovan Fund. So these organizations gave us funds. Of course, we did some local fundraising as well. But unfortunately, when the road work starts around Brufut and other catchment areas, the space we had for the market was a bit too small, so we couldn't go ahead with the market project. So what we did was work with the local authorities, the area council, of course the VDC and the Alcalo to allocate another space for us to build a similar market in there. But unfortunately, we could not get a space from the community as of now. So the project is still on a standstill. Of course, we had wanted to return the money back to our donors, but we decided not to do. So now we have just tendered the project to rebuild the market at 3 different areas: Sarepate, Tintinto, and of course Brufut Newtown. So that's, but then the Brufut market, it's still in there. Once the community is ready to allocate the land, we'll be able to raise sufficient funds and give them the market that they desire.
You know, Ibrahim, the problem of allocating lands for markets, the issues that we have. Yeah. We've seen the case of Sukuta, yes. Sukuta Bursubi. I mean, land was allocated and the market was built. The women are not using the market.
Yes.
So I mean, we are just scared. I mean, this wouldn't be the case again.
Well, you know, at some point we went up to the ministry. I remember the then Minister of Local Government and Land, Abba. We had series of meetings with him, and then already there was a prime location land around Brufut, just not far from the market. And well, the owner of the land, the family agreed to allocate the land to the community, and then we went to the ministry, and the ministry gave their word that, okay, give them the land, we will allocate somewhere for you. So we already did all the documentation, but unfortunately, after a couple of days before we have a meeting with the minister, the family took a U-turn 360 degrees.
They changed their mind.
Yeah, because at first they were valuing the land for 5 million, and then after a couple of days, when we agreed to visit the minister, the family said they valued the land at 30 million. So at some point it was a bit of a tussle between the VDC and the Alcalo, and at some point it was difficult for us, and we told the VDC, look, we gave you up to this time. If you cannot allocate the land, we are going to return the money. We actually had a meeting with the minister. I told him the same. So they were trying to allocate land in different places, but unfortunately it couldn't materialize. And well, we advised the VDC and the Alcalo to put their houses together, because at the end of the day, their disunity is affecting the community.
True.
You know, it's depriving them from what they desire to
getting
do.
basic.
Yes, because we use their image. We traveled, breadth and length of Holland and even different places here in the Gambia to raise funds, and we couldn't put that. When I talk about this, I get emotional because I'm a native. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, well, but it's all right. I mean, you've done your best.
So I see you doing, your interventions beyond even Brufut.
Yes.
I heard you mention Tintinto and some other places as well. Yeah. Tell us about those.
Well, these are community, these are catchment areas. Initially they were all part of Brufut, but then now, because communities has expanded, and now they have their own Alcalo, and then they have their own market, they have their own health centers and all that. So when we saw Brufut did not materialize, we thought, okay, before returning that huge sum of money to Holland, okay, we can just use it properly within communities around. So we thought Tintinto and Sarepate was a good idea. So I sent a team of experts, of course my colleagues, to do a feasibility study. We saw they have an existing market, so land is not an issue because they have an existing market, but the markets are just dilapidated. Yeah. So what we had to do is to restructure the whole thing and build a new one. So, and then these are communities that are very accommodating. They are not very big, they are not very complicated, so they're easy to deal with. So we had series of meetings with them, and they are more than willing to join hands with us to ensure that these projects are completed. So already the markets have been tendered. We do tendering, of course, on our social media side. We prepare a bill of terms of reference, and bidders will buy the terms of reference and apply. Once we're done, we're closing the bid on the 24th. Once it's done, we're going to do a bidding interview, and of course the company with the we're not looking at cheapest, but then of course quality of work. We have some technical criteria that we also look at, because we don't want to build a market and after 2-3 years we have to come back and renovate. We wanted to make sure the structure that you build is solid and then it can serve its purpose. Yeah.
So Blue Foot is a popular, very big settlement.
Yes.
And it's right in the heart of Combo.
Yes.
If you have such a community, and obviously, they need a market.
Yes.
They need a standard market, especially given the size of the community.
Yes.
I see no reason why you can't have a project like that in Blue Foot. So it is up to the community now to make sure that this happens by coming together.
Yes.
Put aside whatever differences you have,
Absolutely,
because you need it. It's part of development.
Absolutely.
So it's like you said, it's quite unfortunate. You're from Blue Foot, and I'm sure you would really want to see such a project in your community.
I think for us, like we have some microfinance aspect within our interventions, because our mothers struggle to go to the market, to go to the garden, horticultural garden, and then after producing everything, they struggle to go to Serekunda or Tipagara to sell them. So we thought if we can build something for them in Blue Foot, and then they will be able to sell. They don't have to struggle. They can just put it on a donkey cart or a wheelbarrow and take it to the market. And of course, the community would benefit, because what we have done, we have set up a steering committee with the area council, the VDC and the Alcalo, so that all the revenues collected, because from the local government act, 60% of the funds collected to be plowed back to the community. So we wanted that money to be in an account, so they will have a committee that will take care of that market. When there is a leakage, electrical issues, or the roof is leaking, they will just fix it. And that plan is already there, and then we have engaged every stakeholder. So it's very unfortunate that the stakeholders within the community are not gelling. They're not seeing eye to eye. And then unfortunately, yes, I'm a residents of Blue Foot, but then there is a limit to what we can do, because we're a private NGO or a private charity. There are certain things we cannot enforce on them. These are people that we are answerable to. It's like a government set up in the community. So the only thing we could do is to bring them on board and talk to them and say, look, this is what we have in plan. If they support you, we go ahead. If they don't, we can move to another community, because all we wanted is to support our local communities, because we're trying to complement government effort. They can't do all this alone. Sure. Yes, government is supposed to do all that, but unfortunately, they are not doing it. The service that they're supposed to deliver are not being delivered. So if people within the community feel they have the influence or the ability to raise funds and do this, great. But if the community does not support, then there's not much we can do.
Maybe you need to engage the ministry again and see if they could also engage the BDC to see possibly if there are reserve lands. Maybe you could make use of those. Since it's a problem really to have this done. Blue Foot used to be, the VDC used to be very vibrant.
No, they're still very vibrant. Don't get me wrong, they're still very vibrant. These are people that we connect with very well. I think there is an issue between the VDC and the Alkali, of course, and the member of the, Bulunda. So they need to put their houses together. We've engaged the ministry several times. But then what happened? Every time we go to the minister, we have a very good conversation. But after that meeting, a group of other people will go there and have conversations. So at some point, I think the minister got confused. Okay, which side am I going to take? Which side is telling the truth? At some point, the governor of West Coast region even got involved. I had several phone calls with him. The area council. So at some point, what we told them, look, we are not resolute alternative, I don't know how you say it, alternative resolute
dispute resolution,
something. We are not ADRL. We are not doing that. If you have elders in the community, you have an area council, you have the governor's office. If you have your difference, you go and sort it out among yourselves. But then we can't be here and trying to settle your dispute, because that's not our role. Our role is to bring communities together and bring development so they can participate. We wanted you to participate. We could have just gone and then put these structures in the community, but we cannot do that because there is a government responsible in our community. That's why we came through that.
Maybe government needs to intervene, especially given how important this project is. Now the entire community is having to suffer because of the differences, within few individuals, and these are our key players in the community. So, but anyway, I hope it gets sorted.
Hopefully we'll get it sorted.
So, future projects for CASA Gambia?
Well, already, just recently we have signed an agreement with Book Aid International, Book Aid International is a UK charity, so we are going to be their distribution partner. So we are going to be distributing books, like reading books to libraries, prisons, schools, and different institutions. So I think the first consignment of the books are coming later this year, towards the end of the year. So we are going to embark on like a national fundraising, probably with British Embassy, German Embassy, because German Embassy has been our partners for the past couple of years. They help us renovate some schools and provide furniture to other schools as well. Right. So because we have engaged the ministry regarding supply of books, but then unfortunately they don't have fully fledged libraries around in schools. They will have a room for a library, but they don't have book sales and all that. And the issues were like, okay, when you donate books to, normally they stack them in cartons and all that. So we do not want that, because these are partners that are very keen on, when you display books, you need to send the pictures. We have to periodically visit this institution to see whether they are making best use of these books. So we wanted to raise funds so that we can, any school that will benefit from this, we will make book shelves for them so that they can make better use of this. Of course, another thing is we sign a agreement with Change the Game Academy. So because we are kind of trying to transition from just being a charity to a capacity building. So we provide local fundraising, training, and mobilizing support. So next year, probably in April, we're conducting training with 10 CBOs and 2 participants each to build their capacity on mobilizing support, and then maybe in July then local fundraising. So those are the upcoming projects. Yes, the market I said, so that one probably by January we will be able to kickstart.
Great. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim, Chairperson, CASA Gambia. Well, we'll be following your projects, and don't hesitate to contact us. But the book distribution, I hope we are going to inculcate that attitude of reading in us. I mean, reading is a problem in the Gambia. I mean, we don't have time to read. I mean, reading is a problem. We are always on our mobile phone.
I know, right? Well, that's the idea, because there are not many people. Someone once wrote on Facebook, I think in Nyanja, he said, if you want to hide something from a Gambian, put it under a book. Yes. So we're trying to inculcate the idea of reading. Probably when we will set up libraries within area council or some, like in the West, what happened, prisons, schools and all that. I hope people will grab a book and read. Hopefully, we will see how that goes. Maybe we'll have to do a national campaign to ensure that people. I think it's important.
The last time I read a novel, I started a novel in 2021. I mean, I think I concluded it this recently. I mean, I read to a point and I mark it. I mean, for almost two years, I'm reading one novel. Can you imagine?
Oh my God! Well, for me, every time I travel, when I go abroad, overseas, I will read a book to finish on the flight, on the train, on the bus, and then return. So, and that has helped me immensely a lot. So I hope people can do that as well. During travel time, you can read, or when you're in the park. Unfortunately, we don't have parks here, but you can read anywhere, in a taxi or something,
All right, thank you, Ibrahim, for coming on the program. Now we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll talk to Momodu Gajaga on Sports World. We'll be back.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience. Banking the smart way with the new Ajib Bank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay utility bills. Check your account balance and view mini statements. Request for ATM cards. Request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Ajib Bank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Ajib Bank, your investment partner.
Yeah, so we are back. This is QTV this morning. Now we are the last segment of the program, and we have Momudu Gajaga here. Momudu Gajaga, good morning. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you, Valde. It's a pleasure always to be here and to talk about my favorite, sports.
Absolutely, sports. I mean, when you talk about sports, the mental picture you have is Momudu Gajaga. Yes. Yeah, so Gajaga, what's happening?
The big thing is about Gambia's national team. The Gambia is playing a World Cup qualifier, double-legged. They are playing against Burundi and they're also playing against Cote d'Ivoire. So the coach, Tom Sanford, just a few days ago selected a team of players, and those players would be representing the Gambia in these double qualifiers. Yes, he talked about some of the players and some who are missing. The reason why they're missing in the squad is because of injury, but for some of them, he cited the reason they were not invited this time is because they turned down the invitation previously. Among those players is Ali Sow, also Yusuf Njai, those are some of the players he said previously he invited them and they give excuses. And some people believe that, the players gave genuine excuses because they were injured. So an injured player cannot be part of the national team. They gave excuses. But for the coach, he insisted that he invited the committed players. And some of those players in his squad, for the goalkeepers is Babukar Gay, Modu Job, and Lamin Sarr. For the defenders is Omar Koli, who until recently was nursing a knee injury. He plays now club football for Besiktas in the Turkish Superliga. James Gomez is another player in the defense. Boubacar Sane, Noah Sonko Sundberg, Sidi Janko, Ismail Ajom, Mohamed Sane. Those are the defenders. And in the midfield is Mamadou Bajo. If you remember, you watched the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Argentina. This guy was one of the prodigies there. Bajo, he marshaled that midfield, played very well. So kudos to him for his performance. Now he's also playing professional football somewhere in Europe, and he's in the Gambia national team for the first time. We say congratulations to him. Another midfielder is Ibu Adams, Hamza Bari, Daud Ngom, Alassane Mane, Jacob Mendy, and Aliou Fodera. For the forwards, Ibrahim Akoli, Ablai Jallo, Bamba Sanyang, that is Abdoulaye Sanyang, they commonly call him Bamba Lai, Musa Baro, Hassan Cisse, and Mohamed Badamosi. These are the players called for this encounter against Burundi, and they will be playing against Burundi on the 16th of November. And the match is going to be played in Tanzania, neutral venue. Still, the stadium is not fit to host international matches.
That's our stadium.
That's our stadium still, despite that renovation. It is not, has gone into the radar of CAF as not being qualified, not fit for those kind of games. So this match is going to be played in a neutral ground. It is home game for Burundi, and the home game for Gambia, which is going to be against Cote d'Ivoire on the 20th, will be played at the same venue. The coach, when he was asked by the press why the Gambia not playing in Morocco this time, he said, looking at the strategic location of Tanzania, it's easier for them without moving out, like they wouldn't have to go to another country, so Ivory Coast would come in there and then, play them in that fixture also. So, two very important games. It's for the 2026 World Cup, and it is winner that goes to the World Cup. So, quite a tough one. It's Burundi, yes. Burundi might be ranked below the 100 countries in the world, but recently they played very well. They beating Madagascar, I think, in the qualifiers 3-2, so which is not an easy team to beat as well. So there are minnows in African football, but if you look at the last few years, what happened, especially Gambia's performance in the AFCON in Cameroon, reaching the quarterfinals as debutants. So there are no minnows in African football. If there are also, but most of them have spring up surprises beating big teams.
I was going to say, given our performance in the past couple of years, I am hopeful we can do it. It's not impossible. Maybe this is our time.
Well, I think I am impressed with the combination block that we have. I mean, look at the teams, look at the people, look at the players. Most of these people are playing outside now, and they have this experience. It's different from then, where we have few players in this country and a combination of other playing outside. So now look at Musa Barrow, Badamosi. You know, these are players that are encountering with experienced footballers. So, well, we are hopeful it will not be the same again. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's going to be a difficult one for the World Cup. It's Gambia, Burundi, Cote d'Ivoire, Kenya, and also Gabon. So it's only the group winner that qualifies automatically to the World Cup. So for the teams that finish second, there is going to be a big round, and in that round also 3 best would be selected, and that 3 best also, one would go into a world playoff. To play against maybe the team that finished 3rd best in South America, the team that finished 3rd best in CONMEBOL and other parts of the continent as well. So
the most difficult,
long
route
yes,
is the safest one.
Safest one.
Win, and you're through.
Well, we are hopeful, no matter what happens. Well, you mentioned the stadium is not fit for purpose. I mean, I saw a post today. They were talking about the tracks. I mean, the tracks. I mean, nothing is done about the tracks. Yeah,
you're talking about the post concerning the athletes.
Yes.
There is a concern about the athletics tracks. They were replaced some years ago. I think this involves millions of dollars to get a new athletics track, but they are almost like worn out again, and parts of it kind of little broken because of the ongoing work at the stadium as well. So maybe there needs to be a new track for the athletes, and also the stadium open for them to train, because now they train in other places, not at the stadium. At the same time, let's talk about the Gambia amputee national team. Fantastic. Yes. They played against Senegal in a friendly, and it was an away game. They won 2-1. So we say kudos to them. It's fantastic.
It's rehearsals for February.
Yes, it's rehearsals for the competition.
So they are telling us we can do it.
Definitely. And if you watch them play, it's beautiful. I was at the stadium the last time when they played. Fantastic footballers, you know, you see brilliant skill. Yeah,
that's beautiful. Momodu Gajaga, thank you very much. I mean, for that update, we appreciate. Sports is very significant, as we know now. Sports is the main thing that people go about now,
especially football, the most popular sports in the world, and you know, other sports are also emerging. The start of the GFF First Division League, it started on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, some very exciting matches. And if you follow QTV, you will hear some of those reports in our subsequent programs on Q Sports and also on the news as well.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Eso Nyasi, Mamudu Gajaga, and thanks to all the people that made this program a success. The camera crew, the control room, you know, our director, Aliu Jallo, and the producers. This is all we have for you. Until we come here again, enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.